the poisonous effect, she drank the milk produced by the buffalo horn in the hand of Krishna. But instead of decreasing the poisonous effect, it increased it 1,000 times. The gopi was thus put into the most miserable poisoned condition. You see, this language is so nice, this metaphorical language, because there's no way to really describe the effect of Krishna's flute. The effect of Krishna's flute is that one becomes so stunned by the inconceivable sound vibration that comes out of it that it's like you can't do anything. You can't think of anything. You don't want to think about anything besides Krishna. So it's called poisonous because just like if one is bitten by a snake, then you can't do anything. Simply, in fact, the more you do, the worse it gets, because then the blood circulates more and the poison goes faster. But then she heard the buffalo horn of Krishna. And the gopis generally don't like this buffalo horn, because it means that Krishna is going to the forest with his cowherd boyfriends, and the gopis won't see him. So then she became even more poisoned, because then she was bitten by the snake of separation from Krishna. But actually, even though these conditions are called poisoned and this and that, try to understand they're actually extremely ecstatic and blissful. Just like separation. In the material world, to be separated from one's lover is considered some negative state. Some suffering is there. But in Krishna consciousness, to be separated from Krishna is actually ecstatic. It's hard to describe. How can I describe it? It's like Krishna is present in his separation also, because Krishna is transcendental. So if we're separated from Krishna, but we're thinking of Krishna, then it's like Krishna is there, even in his separation. Srimati Radharani used to perceive separation within meeting Krishna, and meeting within separation from Krishna. So she was actually not separated from Krishna ever. She was always with Krishna. That's the hidden or deeper meaning of Mada Mohan. Mada means meeting and Mohan means separation. So Mada Mohan. These pastimes of meeting and separation are always going on. One within the other, within the other, within the other. This is the spiritual world. It's transcendental. The attraction of Krishna's leg bells. A certain gopi once stated to her friend, "My dear friend, when I heard the sound of the leg bells of Sri Krishna, I immediately started to go out of the house to see him. But most regrettably, my superiors were present just before me at that time, and I could not go out." In fact, that's where the kartal's coming from. I was explaining the other day. The kartals come, and the way that the kartals are played have to do with the dancing steps of Krishna and the gopis, and the different steps that they would perform during the kirtan or during the rasa dance. So we play the kartals in the different steps that they would do during their dances. If you can imagine. It's very nice. The Krishna's conch shell. Krishna's conch shell is known as Panchajanya. This Panchajanya conch is also mentioned in Bhagavad-gītā. Krishna sounded it before the battle of Kurukshetra. It is said that when Lord Krishna blows on his transcendental conch shell, the wives of the demons become subject to abortions, and the wives of the demigods become blessed with all auspiciousness. In this way, the sound of Krishna's conch shell used to vibrate and circulate all over the world. Krishna's footprints. It is stated in Srimad Bhagavatam that when Akrura, who drove Krishna from Vrindavan to Mathura, saw the footprints of Krishna on the land of Vrindavan, his ecstatic love for Krishna increased so much that the hairs on his body stood up. His eyes became overflooded with tears, and in such ecstasy he jumped out of the chariot and fell down on the ground and began to chant, "How wonderful this is! How wonderful this is!" Similar feelings were expressed by the gopis when they were going to the bank of the Jamuna and saw Krishna's footprints in the dust. When Krishna walked on the ground of Vrindavan, the marks of his soul, the flag, the thunderbolt, the fish, a rod for controlling elephants, and a lotus flower, would be imprinted upon the dust of the land. The gopis became overwhelmed simply at seeing those marks on the ground, because Krishna's lotus feet are the symbol of our service to Krishna. Whenever we offer something to Krishna, we bow down at his lotus feet. And this is the symbol or the signification of our service attitude. So someone who's an authentic devotee of Krishna, they always bow down before Krishna. They always indicate their submission to Krishna by bowing at his lotus feet. So when the gopis would see the marks of the lotus feet of Krishna, which have very distinctive patterns of lines, they would become ecstatic. Oh, this is Krishna. Krishna's places of pastimes. One devotee has exclaimed, "Oh, I have not as yet visited the wonderful places where the pastimes of the Lord were performed, but simply by hearing the name of Mathura, I have become overwhelmed with joy." So Vrindavan, Mathura, Dvaraka, and all other such places, these are places of pilgrimage. Navadvip, Mayapur, Jagannath Puri, all these places are extremely holy because the Lord went there and performed so many pastimes and purified those places. So those places are always pure because they're regarded as the abode of the Lord. The abode of the Lord is non-different from the spiritual world. And when we go there, we can feel this. So everybody, if they want to, anyone who wants to perfect his life should visit these pastime places of Krishna. At least once in your life, go there and see all of these places where Krishna actually descended to this planet. This is so wonderful and so encouraging for our devotional service that we should go to these places and spend a few weeks there at least, performing devotional service, chanting the holy name. And then we develop attachment for Krishna. Krishna's favorite plant, tulasi. Lord Krishna is very fond of tulasi leaves and buds, because tulasi buds are usually offered up to the lotus feet of Krishna. Excuse me. A devotee once prayed to the tulasi buds to give him some information about the lotus feet of the Lord. The devotee expected that the tulasi buds would know something about the glories of Lord Sri Krishna's lotus feet. And indeed they do. Every time we've had nice tulsi plants, and we would take many leaves every day, offer them to the Lord, and then we would take them as prasadam. And this is very, very good for health and also for spiritual advancement. So that's something we're going to do when we're in India. We're going to have lots of tulsi. Krishna's devotees. One may sometimes become overwhelmed with joy by seeing a devotee of the Lord. When Dhruva Maharaj saw two associates of Narayan approaching him, he immediately stood up out of sincere respect and devotion and remained before them with folded hands. But because of his ecstatic love, he could hardly offer them a proper reception. Dhruva Maharaj went to the forest when he was very, very young. And he prayed and performed severe austerities. And Lord Narayan revealed himself. So then when he saw the associates of Narayan, naturally he thought of Narayan and became very ecstatic. There is a statement by a gopi who addressed Subal, a friend of Krishna. My dear Subal, I know that Krishna is your friend and that you always enjoy smiling and joking with him. The other day I saw you both standing together. You were keeping your hand upon Krishna's shoulder, and both of you were joyfully smiling. When I saw the two of you standing like that in the distance, my eyes at once became overflooded with tears. So the devotees, when they see another devotee being close with Krishna, they don't become envious. Normally, in the material world, if we are attached to someone